A man whose jilted ex-girlfriend broke into his house and set him on fire while children slept in the next room has in hospital. Stanley Obi, 33, suffered burns to 90% of his body after his former partner Sarah Mudge doused him and his new lover in petrol and set them alight at their home in New Beith, in Brisbane's southern suburbs, at 3 a.m. on Thursday. Mudge, 30, in the blaze while a brave neighbor named Al dragged the loving dad's burning body from the wreckage. He was raced to Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital in a critical condition, but he sadly just before 10 p.m. on Thursday, leaving their children orphaned. Mr. Obi's new girlfriend, 30, managed to escape the burning home along with 3 kids aged 5, 3 and 2. Sarah Mudge, after breaking into her ex-partner's home and dousing him and his new lover with petrol in the early hours of Thursday morning. Sarah Mudge regularly posted online about how much she adored her family. While police are still trying to piece together exactly what transpired in the lead-up to the attack, it has been revealed Mudge had been angry about the outcome of a court hearing a day earlier, the Courier Mail reported. Mudge's Facebook profile is filled with photos and gushing posts about her children, including one saying her children gave her strength during tough times. When you have no strength left, you have your children. When you are tired, they energize you. And when your heart is in mourning, they bring joy to your soul. To my babies, I thank you for choosing me, she wrote. The ones I have now, and the ones I am still waiting for, it is all my heart beats for. I am eternally grateful. Just 4 days ago, Mudge was asking people in a local Facebook group for advice about identifying frogs found in their garden. Scooped these out of our turtle pond. Our turtle was gorging. IDK how many he's got, but he's got very fat recently, hence we went searching, she wrote. Might they be green tree frogs or cane toads, or something else? We've seen both, and the kids think they saw a yellow frog a while back. Stanley Obi sadly after Sarah Mudge broke into his new home and doused him with petrol. Mudge also had an online Facebook blog called Handsful Heartfuller, dedicated to homeschooling her children. The last post, in November, described the first full year of homeschooling as a success. She boasted about her son being a year ahead of his age, as she hinted at an acrimonious split with her ex. The pair had a long-term relationship which broke down last year. I hope I'm not forced through family court to send him to school to essentially repeat the year and hold him back. But there's not much I can do, she wrote. She described the educational benefits of grocery shopping in another recent post. Pictured, Stanley Obi's burned home in New Beith, after his ex Sarah Mudge set the place on fire. Stanley Obi shared several children with Sarah Mudge before the pair split last year. I know a lot of parents hate it, but it's a great chance to teach them responsibility, math and understanding that money is not endless. I give my kids $5 each shop. Sometimes they get many things, sometimes they can't afford something and have to put it back, Mudge wrote. Mudge also described herself as a self-taught photographer and ran her own photography business. I have always enjoyed capturing special moments, no matter what they are. My absolute focus is to make you happy. Spending time getting that perfect shot is what I really enjoy, her website states. I would like to focus primarily on newborn and young family photography, and I have a particular passion to include the whole family, young, old, furry, feathery and scaly. I'm always seeking new ideas and unique families. The website added she was taking a break to have children, but planned to reopen her studio in 2020. Mudge wrote a cryptic post on Facebook under the heading Relationship Rules. Sarah Mudge, 31, went into her Stanley Obi's house on Thursday and tried to burn him, his new lover, and 3 young children alive. Mr. Obi is pictured with Mudge. Another recent post revealed she and her family had been flooded in during the recent floods in southeast Queensland. 9 weeks ago, Mudge posted a chilling, but vague, message to Facebook saying, "She's not toxic, bro. You made her like that. Now you think she is crazy." Police confirmed Mr. Obi and Mudge were known to police while they were living together previously in another area. It is understood Mr. Obi had built the home last year. Detective Acting Superintendent Mark White said there had been orders between pair, but police had not been made aware of any threats or incidents of violence. Sarah Mudge and Stanley Obi had children before they broke up. Mr. Obi suffered burns to 90% of his body and tragically overnight on Friday. The previous contact had been outside of the Logan district and there wasn't specific concerns around specific threats, he said. There were, in one instance, cross-applications. And they were made privately. Both parties an application out against each other, around August last year. I believe there was only that instance happened once. A hero neighbor known as Ul dragged the loving father's burning body from the wreckage. Neighbors Scott and Michelle, who live next door to Ul, told Daily Mail Australia he frantically tried to knock on everyone's doors on the street, but no one woke up. He knocked on a few doors and the guy the next house over did the same. I think he knocked on a few doors across the street, Scott said. Police believe the blaze at the Bidyang Boulevard property is suspicious and are investigating whether it is the result of a domestic violence incident. A hero neighbor known as Ul dragged Stanley Obi's burning body from the wreckage. Stanley Obi is in hospital with burns to 90% of his body after his ex-girlfriend set him on fire. But the first we heard of it was when the sirens lit up the street. We came out to see what was happening, but there was no sirens, just lights. They said Ul stayed with Mr. Obi until an ambulance came 35 minutes later. Another neighbor told the Courier Mail that he worked hard to get everyone, including Mudge, out of the burning house. I tried to get everyone out of there through the side of the house, and then someone said there's a lady in there, so I tried to go back in, but it was too significantly burnt already. I couldn't get in, he said. Mr. Obi was a professional nurse and knew his burns were life-threatening. He said to me, "I'm not going to make it. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. You need to help me." Help me, the neighbor recalled. Emergency services were called to the Bidyang Boulevard property at New Beith, south of Brisbane, around 3 a.m. on Thursday morning. Forensic investigators trawled the scene on Thursday, but said it was difficult due to the fire damage. He was giving me his hand, reaching out to me to hold it, and I wasn't going to hold his hand because I know about infection control. Just weeks before the tragedy, Mudge wrote a cryptic post on Facebook under the heading Relationship Rules. "She's not toxic, bro," she wrote. "You made her like that. Now you think she is crazy. Your decisions reflect her actions. Check yourself." Mr. Obi's friend said he and his new partner built their new dream home last year and only moved in late October. His shattered family told 9 News this is too much to bear, and that he had been the happiest he's ever been. Superintendent White said there is no evidence that a Molotov cocktail was thrown, and believe Mudge somehow gained entry, and then once in there was able to throw petrol around. "We believe the person, who does not live at that residence, was somehow able to gain entry, and then once in there was able to throw petrol around, and that's how it's gone," he told reporters. Police do not believe anyone else was involved. Firefighters spent more than 2 hours trying to douse the flames. Pictured, the burned home. Police said Mr. Obi and his new partner had lived in the house for about 6 months. Detectives are yet to interview the surviving woman and have appealed to the public for information. "We haven't been able to actually speak to the female occupant of that house," DET Superintendent White said. "And once we are able to do that, we'll be able to verify, I'd say in quite detail, precisely what has transpired." One resident said fire trucks and police sirens woke him up at 3 a.m. "Could see the fire from mine, 10 meters high," he wrote on social media. A spokesman from Queensland Fire and Emergency Services told Daily Mail Australia the property was well engulfed when 4 crews arrived on the scene. "There was a partial roof collapse," he said. Firefighters spent more than 2 hours trying to douse the flames. 1800 Respect. Lifeline 13 11 14. Men's Referral Service. 1